Did you attend the Lens Collective presentation?
If not, no worries, because Brianna Bynum has all the highlights coming up.
Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Sarah Kate Calguire.
And I'm Alexandra Morris.
21 Ole Miss students spent Easter weekend in the Mississippi Delta, and today the Ole Miss community saw why.
Brianna Bynum joins us with more. Brianna?
The Lens Collective is a workshop where students visit the Delta, document what they learn, and produce their content for the public to see. This year, Ole Miss, along with 7 other schools, participated in this multimedia project. For the second year in a row, Ole Miss students visited the Mississippi Delta to report for the Lens Collective, and this morning in the Overby Center, faculty and students gathered to view the work that was created. Participant Naja Jadagi recalls her experience while in the Delta.
People don't really go there like for a vacation, or it's not too much of a tourist site. The people that are there are the people who live there, so getting to go there and report stories that people would have never known about was probably the thing that stuck out to me the most.
This year, participants in the Lens Collective focused on civil rights in the Delta, and Professor Michael Fagan says this is important as the Delta doesn't often get coverage like this.
Going to an area like the Delta that tends to be underreported, I think it was a good opportunity to not only cover important stories, but also give the students some very critical experiences.
Creator of the Lens Collective, Professor Alicia Steele says the Lens Collective is a great networking opportunity for students.
You get to work with students from other universities. Once you leave school, who do you think you're going to work with or run across? So this is a great way to get your name into different circles.
While in the Delta, the students worked from sunup to sundown, and both Steele and Fagan say participating in this project gives students a learning experience they can't get anywhere else.
Just getting some practical hands-on experience that you wouldn't get in classroom.
The best way to learn is to get out and do the work.
Jargi says the experience with the people she came in contact with, especially the children, left a lasting impression.
I know when I was that age and my hopes and dreams, and to hear theirs and see them work towards it was really inspiring to me.
The Lens Collective will return to the Delta next year with a new group of students, but the same goal of giving a voice to those who are often unheard. Next year, the Lens Collective will focus on the land in the Delta, so if this is something you're interested in, don't miss out. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Brianna. It is again that time of year to pick up your Ole Miss yearbook. The yearbook staff is distributing the Ole Miss this week at the Tad Pad. Students can pick up their free copy from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. through Thursday of this week. In order to receive a yearbook, all students must present their valid student ID, and as long as they are enrolled in classes and have paid their tuition for both semesters, this year it is completely free. Students who have only paid for one semester will have to pay $25 for their yearbook, and non-students, law students, and faculty and staff have to pay $50. The Meek School of Journalism and New Media is launching a new integrated marketing and communications online degree program. Interested professionals can enroll starting in August in a completely online IMC degree. The program is designed to give mid-career professionals a chance to learn how to use communications in a new way, connecting people and organizations. This online degree helps them more easily attain a new degree without having to move and enroll in school full-time. Students can complete the 36-hour degree program in 2 years by taking courses in the fall, spring, and summer.
Africa's largest airline group and Ethiopian Aviation Academy have partnered with Ole Miss. This new partnership will offer training programs to the Aviation Academy as well as other educational opportunities for the university. Ethiopian Airlines will be benefiting from the Meek School, who will provide them with improvement on brand awareness through digital services. The partnership hopes to prepare students to work at executive levels and is even looking to build an executive MBA program. Ole Miss grad Tammy Trim won the 2018 First Year Teacher of the Year for the Oxford School District. 3 other teachers were nominated. The nominations were then reviewed and considered by a district-wide committee who chose Trim as the winner. Trim was described as a dynamic, deeply committed teacher who takes the time to get to know all of her students. Yesterday, she received her award and thanked the district for letting her light spark.
The heavy rains we have seen this year in Oxford have had a bigger impact than many may think. After yet another storm a few weeks ago, a sinkhole was discovered behind the press box at Oxford's Bobby Holcomb Field. The sidewalk on the back side of the press box is sunken in and the hole extends to under the back of the box. The press box will either remain intact with minimal damage, or the sinkhole has done too much damage to the foundation and it will have to be torn down. An engineer is scheduled to look at it this week to assess the damage.
An Ole Miss sophomore is the first to receive the new Purple Heart parking pass, which will allow him to park anywhere on campus. This new obtainable permit was unveiled by the Office of Veterans and Military Services to honor the university's veteran community.
We've made tremendous strides in the right direction for the veterans on this campus, and I think it's going to be a huge progression to show the community that not only can we serve our country on the battlefield, but we can go get our education and continue to serve our country in the field of academics.
While we do have the one Purple Heart parking space, they're able to park anywhere. The space is more of a sign of institutional commitment to show the community around us and to show the SEC and the world that we're serious about honoring those who have delayed their education to defend our values.
Ole Miss is one of the 4 SEC institutions to hold the Purple Heart University designation, but it is the first university in Mississippi to receive the designation in conjunction with the city and county in which it is located. The Tennessee bus driver who caused a crash that killed 6 children and injured dozens of others will spend 4 years in prison. In March, a jury found Jonathan Walker guilty of 27 of the 33 charges against him. They included criminally negligent homicide, reckless driving, and use of a portable device while a school bus driver. Parents of the victims testified in an emotional sentencing hearing today. Walker himself also testified, and the judge issued his sentence.
Many people know that police are there to protect and serve, but there's a difference between a patrol office and a detective.
Andy Magnus once went to the South Haven Police to talk to an officer who's been to both.
My job is to make sure that the citizens are safe.
The job of a police officer is not as simple as some would think.
We're in the front line of when something generally goes down. So when someone dials 911, the person who's going to get the call is going to be the patrolman. And once we show up to the scene, we decide whether we can handle the situation or it needs to escalate to someone in a specialty unit.
But patrol officers do many other things also.
Some of the duties of patrolmen are serve warrants. We patrol our jurisdiction, meaning what the boundary lines might be from Church Road to State Line. We generally stay within that area.
Since Detective Tara Crum became detective, she's realizing how different it is.
It's overwhelming because it's very different from patrol.
She's trying to learn all the ropes and to do what needs to be done.
As a detective, we come in and kind of take over cases that can be pushed.
Because of her new extra workload, she is finding ways to accomplish those tasks.
Simple things that are time sensitive. So, okay, I put those at the top of my list. But then I usually go on to our database, which is where all of our cases sit.
Then Crum interviews witnesses or suspects pertaining to her cases and hopes she can solve them. It is important to remember that not all cases can be solved, but detectives are working on them. Andy Magnuson, NewsWatch, Ole Miss.
Coming up, find out who's meeting with President Trump today and why it could impact the U.S. foreign policy.
But first, Delia Vandeveld has your first look at the current conditions.
Hey there, Oxford, and happy Tuesday. While luckily we did not see any rain today, we can expect some rain to be in our forecast tomorrow afternoon and moving into Thursday. But luckily, the rain should move out of the way and it should be a sunny and warm weekend ahead. As we take a look at the current radar, you can see that it's clear in Oxford as that rain has moved past our area for now. Stay tuned later for a full report coming up on Stormwatch.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Yes, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising.
It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
The driver accused of intentionally plowing a white van through a busy Toronto street and hitting multiple people made his first court appearance today.
Heaven has 10 new angels today, and we ask them to watch over us.
The city of Toronto is in mourning after chaos struck at a busy intersection. Authorities say a man driving this white van crashed into multiple people crossing the street, then mounted the sidewalk and continued his carnage, leaving a trail of destruction nearly a mile long.
And I look out the window, I saw that guy lying over there dead.
Try to see if this guy's okay, but the guy was bleeding up from the head, unconscious, eyes open.
The suspected driver, 25-year-old Alec Manassian, was arrested and was charged with 10 counts of first-degree murder and 13 counts of attempted murder.
The people who call this city home are shaken, and we mourn together, but we are not broken.
A heavy police presence was also seen at the suspect's home as Toronto looks for answers.
The entire community of Toronto has shown strength and determination in the face of this tragedy.
Investigators are still looking for a motive. Police will be looking at Manassian's social media posts for insight. President Trump's pick for VA secretary is in hot water because of misconduct allegations and a postponed trial. However, Dr. Ronnie Jackson says that he is ready to answer any questions that Congress may have.
I can answer the questions, absolutely. I'm looking forward to rescheduling the hearing and answering everyone's questions. Yes, sir.
Allegations have been made to the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee regarding excessive drinking by Jackson and therefore creating a negative work environment, according to 2 former White House medical staff members. These allegations have led to President Trump canceling Jackson's nomination despite endorsing him fully previously. President Trump is hosting the French President Emmanuel Macron in the first state visit of his presidency. The 2 leaders are getting down to business, discussing multiple issues. Brian Brisa reports.
Plenty of pomp, circumstance, and an elaborate military welcome for French President Emmanuel Macron, the first state visit of Trump's presidency. Both men reiterating their strong personal relationship.
And it's an honor to call you my friend. Thank you.
But highlighting differences in some major policy issues. On the Iran nuclear deal, Trump offering varying tones throughout the day.
People know my views on the Iran deal. It was a terrible deal.
We could have at least an agreement among ourselves fairly quickly. France and the United States also agree that Iran cannot be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon.
Macron and other U.S. allies are in the midst of negotiations with the U.S. over the deal.
It's not a mystery. We did not have the same starting positions. We therefore wish from now on to work on a new deal.
On the next steps in Syria, after the joint airstrikes in response to a reported chemical attack on civilians. The question remains, how long to keep troops in the region?
I do want to come home, but I want to come home also with having accomplished what we have to accomplish.
We'll continue to act till the end within this framework until victory.
Brian Barisa, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
The 2 leaders also began intensive talks on North Korea, climate change, and trade.
An update on former President George H.W. Bush. He's been in intensive care since the day after his beloved wife Barbara was laid to rest. A family spokesman said today Bush has since been stabilized and is awake, alert, and talking. The 93-year-old was admitted to the Houston Methodist Hospital Sunday morning after contracting an infection that spread to his blood. According to the spokesman, the 41st president has since said he is determined to get healthy and return to the family home in Kennebunkport, Maine this summer. The suspect accused in the fatal Waffle House shooting in Tennessee is in police custody. Now Travis Rankin's grandmother is expressing her condolences to the victims' families. Long before he was the suspect of a frantic manhunt, the grandmother of Travis Rankin was worried, saying the man accused of horrific murders isn't the grandson she's known.
It's not him. He is a sick boy.
Marilyn Hopper joined Rankin's parents in 2016 in expressing their concern when Rankin claimed Taylor Swift was harassing and stalking him. They advised he owns and had access to many firearms at his residence. After Sunday's massacre at the Waffle House, Hopper says she wants Nashville to know this.
My heart goes out to those people who have loved ones they've lost. I've lost 2 children myself, and I know what that feels like. And so my heart really does go out to them. But you know, we have a side too.
A side that grows ever complicated. Online, Rankin's father is being heavily criticized. Police reports show he took 3 rifles and a handgun away from his son when he was having problems last June. The very next month after Rankin was caught trying to enter the White House, his 4 weapons were ultimately taken from him by state investigators. Police believe Rankin's father at some point gave them back.
It is possible if you transfer weapons knowingly to a person that is prohibited, so that could potentially be a violation of federal law.
With their son now charged in the nation's latest deadly shooting, all his grandmother can do is express her remorse.
I'm just so sorry for those people and their loss. I really am. My heart goes out to them.
Among the weapons taken from Rankin in Illinois was a Kimber handgun. The same model of handgun was found in Rankin's backpack when he was arrested.
Today was a little overcast, but maybe the rest of the week will be a little brighter.
Well, Sarah Kate, Delia Vandeveld will let us know in her extended forecast coming up next on Stormwatch.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Good evening, Oxford, and welcome back to Stormwatch. We are currently looking at cloudy skies with a current temperature of 65 degrees, Some winds are moving northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour, and there's a small 10% chance of rain. As we take a look at the current satellite image, you can see that it's cloudy in Oxford and the rest of the Mid-South. Now taking a look at the temperatures across the map, you can see that Oxford and Holly Springs are at 65, South Haven and Corinth at 64, and Tupelo at 66. For the temperatures tomorrow, they will be around the same as today, a little warmer. We'll have Oxford at 73, South Haven and Holly Springs at 71, Corinth at 72, and Tupelo at 75. The temperature for tonight in Oxford, we can expect to see some more cloudy skies, and it will be 50 degrees. We'll continue to see those winds moving and still a small 10% chance of rain. As for tomorrow, we will see a beautiful high of 73. It will be mostly cloudy, but that sun should come back out. There is winds again moving at 10 to 15 miles per hour, and tomorrow night there is a 40% chance of rain. Now taking a look at the 5-day forecast, you can see that Thursday and Friday look to be rainy, but everything should clear out for a nice sunny and warm weekend moving in soon. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Delia. The Ole Miss baseball team's in Pearl, Mississippi to take on their in-state rival, Mississippi State, and see why this game means more than just a midweek matchup.
And the softball team is currently in action against Alcorn State. See how they're doing next.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape.
It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Good evening and welcome to a Tuesday edition of Sports Watch. I'm Colin Rivera. After a successful road trip in El Paso, the Rebels softball team is currently in action against Alcorn State. While the Rebels are riding a 4-game winning streak, many would say it's because of their strong play, but some may think there's another reason. Meet Angle Llama, the rally animal that was bought by freshman pitcher Ava Tillman. Since being brought out to the dugout, the Rebels are 4-0 and have a huge rally against Mississippi State this past week. Currently, the Rebels are up 13-0. Fierce, gritty, and competitive. And those few words, fans around here understand what it's like to feel those emotions when going up against Mississippi State. Tonight is no different as the Ole Miss baseball team is in Pearl, Mississippi to compete for the Governor's Cup. While some may know the origin of the story, some are not familiar with its origin. It started in 1980 when Mayor Dale Danks Jr. named the rivalry game the Mayor's Trophy. He named the game over it being one of the biggest matches of that season. In 2006, however, it was changed to the Governor's Cup. On average, the game has drawn over 5,000 fans in Pearl for the annual matchup where the Bulldogs lead the series 20-18. If you're looking to tune in, the game will be shown on the SEC Network, where first pitch is at 6 p.m. Meanwhile, in Atlanta, Falcon Nation almost had an implosion when they found out Julio Jones and what he did to his social media accounts last night. Julio Jones decided to make his Twitter private after unfollowing the Falcon team, player, staff, and coach accounts. Following that, he went to his Instagram and deleted every Falcons picture of him. Some are worried that the NFL draft is in 2 days and wonder if he's going to be traded on draft night. Jones has yet to comment on the social media move, and there has been no official comment from the Falcons front office. While it's chaos for the Falcons, it is nothing but celebrations in Air Canada Dome as the Maple Leafs forced a Game 7 against the Boston Bruins. Maple Leafs fans can give a big thank you to their goalie, Frederik Andersen, for making this save in our play of the day. Last minute of the play here in the first period, and the Bruins are looking to go up ahead of the break, but Andersen had other ideas with a mind-saving it by swatting it out in the air, and as I said, the Leafs would go on to win this game 6-1. They'll now be heading to Boston to play in Game 7 at 6:30 p.m. For more sports, be sure to follow our Twitter at NewsWatch_UM, and remember that the Governor's Cup between the Rebels baseball team and Mississippi State starts at 6 p.m. on the SEC Network. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Colin. Up next, find out about a federal case that is just bananas.
Stay tuned. There's more NewsWatch up next.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Monkey see and monkey sue. A federal court ruled yesterday that animals lack the ability to sue for artistic works they create. The case involved a series of snaps of Naruto, crested macaque. British nature photographer David Slater set up a camera in an Indonesian forest, and Naruto took smiley selfies with the camera.
PETA sued Slater when he sold some of the photos in 2015. The organization argued that Naruto owned the rights to the photos, calling the images original works of authorship. But the court ruled against PETA. Although Slater is now donating 25% of future income from the Naruto photos to protect habitats where crested macaques live.
Well, that's definitely a tough lawsuit to fight off.
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of fighting off, we fought off the rain today. Do you think we're going to fight it off tomorrow?
Yeah, so it shouldn't rain all day, but there is a 40% chance coming in tomorrow night, and it should rain Thursday, but it should be sunny this weekend, so we can look forward to that.
Amazing. Thank you, Delia.
Thank you. That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning in to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Sarah Kate Calaguire.
Be sure to catch us here again on air at 5 and on our Facebook live stream. You can also find our show on hottytoddy.com. I'm Alexandra Morris. Thank you and good night.